Well, good morning. I'm Dallas Seeley, founder and owner of the Seeley Group. I am here with the living legends themselves, Annette Bishop and Tim Evans. Thank you so much for sitting down with me in your very busy schedule while here in Austin.
Hey, Dallas. Yeah,
Thank you.
beautiful. Thank you for having us and making the trip out. We're from Phoenix. Came out to see.
Yeah, I had to kidnap you guys this morning at King Ranch to get you here for some good coffee and good conversation. But I'm excited today. We're doing a little bit different of a video than you normally see. And I'm here with really the founders and just, in essence, people on the forefront on how real estate can be bought and sold. So I just want to take a moment and help the viewers at home sort of understand eye level. We were talking earlier, and a good example that I brought up, and I know we can list a dozen, is if you think of anything in our world, more and more convenience is becoming a top priority. You've heard the term that our time is one of our most valuable assets, and whether it's Amazon being delivered, DoorDash, or even, we were talking HEB. My wife and I haven't been inside of a grocery store in 2 or 3 years because we pay a little bit of a premium to have the groceries delivered straight to our door. And I think our world is ever changing. And you guys have really started the first platform and the first opportunity that I've ever heard of that really exists in the entire country in all of real estate, where the consumer, in essence, can input a little bit of data on their property, click a button, and have, 5, 8, a dozen plus instant cash offers come in on their house. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, and I think you really hit on the head. The world's changing, and it's changing at a very rapid pace. The real estate industry is sort of lagging behind a little bit in the sense of traditional thinking of how a real estate transaction should behave and act. And what started this? Just give a little history, peel this back a little bit. Is somebody said one time, what if the MLS didn't exist? How would you sell a home? Like if it just disappeared the next day, what would you do as a real estate agent?
Wait, just pause right there, because there's going to be a ton of agents, new agents, slightly experienced, and long-time top veterans that watch this video. So for our consumers and our realtors watching right now, just pause and say this out loud. How would you sell a home if the MLS didn't exist?
Yeah, I think it's a very valid question. And I think we've watched it like through the ride shares, taxis. What the cab didn't exist. What happened? An app came about, and Uber was born and took off. So there's a thought about that. And so what we did was we put together a platform that you can sell a home, no strangers, can pick the offer that they choose. It's offers, solid offers, and they can sell on their time frame, just like how you do with your ordering groceries, right? You go online, how Amazon works, how Carvana, all of this delivers certainty, speed, and keeps the hassle out of the transaction.
You just said Carvana, and that reminded me of a real life true story from my next door neighbor that happened a couple months ago. And I asked him about all this after I saw the tow truck drive away, and he had a blue Porsche that he sold, right? And if you think of the old days, if you wanted to buy a car, heck, even 20 years ago from the internet, you could go to a dealership and you could spend all day long, driving to multiple dealerships, or you could do Auto Trader or Craigslist, the green sheet, right? And then the internet came along, and eBay, and so on. And we're now in 2024, and this is all, he told me, he goes, hey, I went to this website. They asked me to input all the specs on my vehicle, year, make, model, mileage, engine, finish outs, all that stuff. It then asked for pictures, inside out, and a walk around video. And I submitted all that. And I had multiple companies from Auto Trader and local dealerships and so on bidding to buy my car cash. And the highest bidder was Carvana, and they came to my home. And keep in mind, he did all of this on his couch from his laptop. Never left us, right? Because time is our most valuable asset. Did it all on his computer, couple minutes, got the bids in. Carvana was the highest bid. He liked their offer. He hit accept. They come out with a rep and a tow truck. The rep walked around, basically did the inspection, like a home inspection, to ensure that the car's, presence matched the photos and the video that he uploaded. They handed him a check and they drove off with the car.
As easy as it, I mean, it's just so easy, right? It's just like mind blowing.
He told me that, and I was like,
and that's where these industry and the offer companies are making it very easy for the consumer, and they're getting better and better by the months, by the day in the reporting, because they don't make money if they don't buy the home. So they're getting closer to what the consumer wants and needs from a pricing standpoint. And that's where I think the biggest misconception in real estate is, well, these offers are lowball offers. And that's furthest from the truth. It's not that at all. We're seeing offers anywhere from 95% of value in the scheme of things. And that matters because the homeowner is getting exactly what they're looking for a pricing and a deliverable piece.
So let's take a step back. I think we've sort of scratched the surface on this, extremely forward-thinking, world-class platform you've created. Let's take a step back. When did really the seed get planted? And you sort of mentioned earlier on what if there was no MLS? How did it get started? When did it get started? And sort of, would you walk us both through the story of how it's evolved to where it's at today?
Yeah. Annette was sort of the first piece in this, about 2019, 2020, somewhere in there. What year was it?
Probably 19.
19. Worked for Zillow.
Okay.
In the cash offer company. And Annette worked for me prior to, left for a few years. But when we had Annette for a couple years, she was a very big asset in our business. And so I kept going back to Annette, calling her. And I was watching Zillow operate with these offers. And anyways, Annette, that's where it started when I called you one day and said, hey, I'm putting something together. Come join this. And that's where it all happened in about 2019, putting together multiple companies. But she had an understanding of how the metrics and a lot of this back-end work, because she worked at Zillow when Zillow was offering offers out there.
Yeah, so Tim called me to come back, and I wasn't ready. I kept calling me. I wasn't ready to come back, and he got me on a good day when I had a bad day. And I'm like, okay, I'll come meet with you. And so he's telling me about his plan, what he was thinking, because he's always thinking of things to make things better every day. So I came back, and then we started working with some private investors that we had in our local market. So we kind of worked with them, kind of kept bringing them on. Then all of a sudden people were like, hey, I want to make offers on this house, make the offers on this house. So we would kind of track them all. So next thing we know, we have this huge list of people that want to make offers on these homes. So Tim's like, well, why don't we reach out to bigger investors and let's see what else is out there. So we just kind of tracked everyone. Tim's really good at reaching out to people, talking about the platform. He had a big goal. His goal was to help agents. His goal was to help sellers to get what they want and to kind of put it all together to make it easy. He always talked about an easy button. Like, I just want a button where they just press a button and it's easy. And this was probably 4 years ago, back in 19 when I came back in 2020. So that's kind of where we started doing it. And everything was manual. We'd send out the offers through email, send all the photos, get all the information back, put it all together. And then we'd manually type in all the offer sheets to the agents, whoever would sign up. And
I'm picturing that iconic photo of Jeff Bezos in his garage office with Amazon.
It was just like that.
Picturing that.
it was,
Just like that.
it was so manual. Yeah, spreadsheet had my little calculations and put everything in, and it would calculate for everyone. And
So couple observations in the early years. Number one, in any hyper successful business, right, it starts with the people and the right partnerships. And so it sounds like Tim pulled a classic almost sports move where he's like, hey, what's the contract I got to write to get you? You're the Michael Jordan. Like, we need to, our powers combined, Captain Planet, right? And so the other thing that I observed when y'all were talking, and this is for our consumers out there, this is for our real estate agents as well. If you couple examples, just on world-class forward-thinking ideas and companies, if you think of Uber or Lyft, they don't own any vehicles. They connect, the drivers that have a product and have the ability to serve the needs of what the consumers want. They are connectors, right? And even a bigger example, if you think of Amazon, and I'm sure it's changing, but in general, especially in the earlier years, they didn't own any of their products. They are connecting the manufacturers of the products with the consumers that want them at, rock bottom prices, and really what the consumer wants, which is convenience. And so if you think about this platform, how beautifully simple it is, okay, what does a seller want? They want the highest sales price, the highest net possible for the least amount of stress and hassle. So you said it, you're connecting what a consumer wants and needs with dozens and dozens and dozens of the largest big boy cash buyers out there in the country that without your platform wouldn't have an opportunity to help this consumer.
Exactly. I think it's well put. And this is what we've found. Every seller situation, their story, what they're going through, they're different. Every one. And as an offer, it might be offer X, might be offer Y, it might be offer whatever, right? Because they all are structured differently and have different service capabilities. And that's important to understand, because somebody might need to stay in the home for a while, right? A month. So some of the offers don't do that, but we do have offers that do, right? So there's certain offers that help the client's needs. So when you put it together, you're delivering exactly like Amazon, right? You can give them what they're looking for. And every one of our partners are valued. They do wonderful, and it brings it all together. So everybody's folding into this, and they win because they're servicing exactly to their prospective target market, that seller in that box that they're structured in. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah, so it does deliver at a very powerful and high rate.
one example of Amazon is I had to order a laptop bag to come here. And I thought I ordered it, but I didn't hit submit. So the next morning I looked to see when it's coming in that day, and it wasn't coming in. So I'm like, shoot. So I had to go back into Amazon and see who could deliver it the next morning. Like, I needed it delivered between overnight. So I saw I know what bag I wanted, but I saw multiple vendors, multiple people who had that bag. And so they were the same bag, but different prices. So because I wanted the convenience of that delivery overnight, because some of them were closer, I paid a couple bucks more and I got my bag. I didn't care. I needed that bag at a certain time. And yeah, I could have paid less, but I would have had to wait till the next day and I would have been gone. So just that's kind of how the platform works. Is there's so many different offers and it depends on your seller situation. So you have to know what your seller situation is, and that will help you decide which offer works for them.
You really become a professional as an agent, and the agent is not out of the mix in this.
No.
Matter of fact, The agent even plays a more important role in all of this. So agents are listening to this, say, well, this sounds like you're trying to put me out of a job. And that's from the truth. The agent gets where the agent value is terms. They get a chance to sell on terms and conditions, and the price is sort of an afterthought, but it's meeting the demand of the seller and what they're going through at that time. And really, like Annette said, a few dollars more, she bought it. But sellers sometimes they'll give that up. Is a stat in 2023 that sellers that went to iBuyers gave up $53,000 in equity. Homes that sold through the institutions, major institutions. That's interesting to understand because there were certain things that they needed. Does that make So
Yeah.
But this gap, that 53,000, is starting to get closer to value. So that's starting to shrink.
So just kind of taking a step back and making it simple, we've been partnered with Annette and Tim's platform for about a year now. And when you sell your home with Sealy Group, we'll show up to the very first appointment, your traditional listing appointment. And the very first thing after we talk about, our value proposition and what we do differently is we're going to present you, this is the very first time we meet, 5, 6, 9, a dozen plus cash offers.
Exactly.
This is the very first time we've met, right? And so imagine if you're a consumer and you're interviewing a listing agent, or maybe
Because they all interview.
right? And the person you sit down with, it's the very first time you've ever met them, already has a dozen cash offers. Hey, we just met, but I've done some prep work. Here they are. Let's go over. And all the different nuances and caveats of the different cash offers. And, if you don't want to take them at that time, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
The traditional route of listing, but having those at your disposal and knowing people have different situations, right? You've heard the 5 Ds of real estate, from diamonds, getting married, to diapers, to divorce. People are, changing that way, to diplomas, right? Downsizing, to, death is a part of life. And it could be one of those 5 classic Ds, or maybe you got relocated because of a job. Maybe there's a family emergency and you have to move to go take care of a family. Like, life throws us curveballs. And we were talking about this last night. Currently, because of our market, the average days on Austin is approaching 6 months. So if you list a home, not with the Sealy Group, but most other agents expect it to take somewhere around right now 6 months to sell your property. And maybe when you first listen on the market, you have that kind of flexibility time-wise, but maybe things change and you have to move faster. And so having these options, like you said, of getting 90, even sometimes up to 95% of the same net that you would if you did sell it on the MLS, but you can have the cash in your bank account 2 to 3 weeks.
And you can move on with life.
How much is 6 months of mortgage payments and upkeep on your home?
There's a fun conversation if you go down.
Or dream shatter because you couldn't sell.
Yeah, you lose out.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think as home, Mr. considering selling their home or know they've got a move coming up, at night when they're discussing this amongst themselves, is, they're not thinking of listing a home, right? They're thinking, am I going to get $800,000 for the home? Are we going to get $800 for it? Are we going to get $700? What are we going to do if we get $700? Or if we get $800, that's going to help us transition. So they're thinking of what that sell looks like. That's what they're processing in the very beginning. So when you market, or you can go to the market area with offers, you're right in their thinking. You're right in that spin. Does that, hopefully that makes sense, because that's where I think agents miss this, is that they think that sellers want to list the home. And that is furthest from what home sellers and the world out there thinks. They're thinking of, how can we sell this home and what are we going to get for it when it's all said and done? And here you come in with the offers, and you get to that point real quick with them as you're sitting down and discussing, and the trust and you doing business with them just absolutely goes through the roof because you're talking to them on the level of how to sell their home with offers. And this, by the way, Dallas, I'll just let the cat out of the bag. This is just not going to be about institution. I think the MLS, with all the syndication, been talking about this for years, when a home goes into the MLS and it sits 6 months, right? Or even, let's say, 10 days, that is aged inventory. To a buyer, they're already questioning, why didn't the home didn't sell? Why should I offer full price when it's been on the market 3 months, right?
So you're saying something that goes along with what Annette just said earlier. And so, bringing more value to anyone who's watching this video is, and this is what we really try to come with more of an educational approach to every single person we sell their home, is when a consumer thinks about sales price, they have an emotional attachment to that home. That's where memories were made. And
as they should.
And the reality is when you're going to sell a home, if you think about sales price, in a little bit of way, you're thinking with your ego and that emotional attachment to the home. And we try to really curve the perspective from the very beginning. Your focus and our number one job, when that thing closes and the title company wires money to your bank account, our job, very simply, and how you need to think is, our job is to net you the highest wired dollar amount from the title company at the end of the day with the least amount of stress. So, period. And so, Annette, you said it great. Hey, average days on the market right now, at least in this market, is approaching 6 months. You think about holding costs. You think about the more intangibles of mental, emotional costs, all that stuff, versus a surefire, hey, we can literally get this amount in your bank account in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so having certainty for the consumer, especially in a market like this, is just something that didn't exist a couple of years ago. And again, being one of the top brokers in the country, this is the only platform I know of where, whether it's the consumer or ourselves, you can click on the link above. So I know my guy David's going to put the link to highestprice.com. That's where you can go, or type it in. And it takes 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes max, to upload the specs of your home, submit a couple photos, and in less than 24 hours, with a click of a button, you're going to have 6, 8, 10, maybe a dozen plus real life cash offers for that certain.
Absolutely. And just to add to that a little bit, the agent does play a vital role. So I think there's going to be a real, with some of the changes going on, as we know that's coming, there's going to be a real fight for the buyer out there now. Let's just call it the way it is. And again, when that buyer goes into, look through the MLS, through Zillow, Realtor.com, all these, Redfin, wherever, that inventory's aged. But what do buyers really look for? They always look for
Deal.
And I don't know what it is. Like, when I was showing homes back in the day, I would have a list of 5, 6 homes I was driving in the neighborhood, and I'd show them the house, and then they could see the house on the other side of the street that had a for sale sign. They always ask, why aren't you showing us that home? That looks like a nice home, right? They're always looking for that other home that we're not showing them. But that's where this comes into play. So with all the properties that we're gathering, off-market properties that we're gathering, we can actually attract buyers in thousands, millions to put in there, and it's not aged inventory. These are sellers that haven't committed yet, but it's not aged, so they can actually offer right on the property. So not only will you have the institution big boys, but you're going to have Mr. and Miss Seller that's going to be right there on an offer. And they all have to see the home, just like the Carvana. They have to inspect the home to firm the offer up. But think of it that way too, is you could walk into a seller and say, hey, I have these 10 offers, 12 offers, but I have 20 buyers here that also possibly like to see the home. Is Tuesday, Wednesday okay for me to bring these buyers in? And a seller can't, it's hard for them to say no to you because some sellers may not want to sell to an institution and would rather sell to a buyer, right?
Right.
But you have that, but it's going to match it right there. So anyway, this is a development, some of the vision that we have and that's going on right now behind the scenes that's coming out. So we're pretty excited for all of this, but the real estate agent's going to have a lot of fun with this. And I think it's going to be very impactful in their business. So the ones that get it and understand it and shift, Dallas, like you have, you're an early adopter. One thing I love about you, Dallas, is you see something and you pick up on it and see the vision on it. And you've done a wonderful job and your business prospers because of it. So you're able to help customers so quick and your clientele because of what you see and what you value out there.
We're very similar where all we want to do is dance in the future. But I do have to take a step back and go back to the evolution of really this world-class system. We talked about what sounds like the first chapter in that, 2019, 2020, maybe even into 2021. I'm picturing you guys in the Amazon office, in the garage with and everything's manual, right? If that's chapter one of really, you said it earlier, working with the local investors primarily in the Phoenix market for this little seed, to grow into a sapling. What would you say was really the next pivotal point of getting to chapter number 2, as you would say, where y'all started to bring in bigger boys, bigger national cash buyers across the country? You started to expand your team, invest back into your systems where everything wasn't so manual. Kind of walk us through evolution of chapter.
Yeah, the next one was trying to decide the right partners, trying to decide the local partners, business partners, Tim's partners that he's working with. We don't know tech. Tim and I are not tech people. So bringing in,
Right.
I'll let you talk about that, bringing in the right tech people that understand that so they can move forward and understand how to get that done, because that has been a great relief on us manually, is to just have everything automated and offers go into it and they ship out to the agents and they can click buttons. And so we're trying to figure out the least amount of manual, because that's when your errors happen. Like when we have to manually do things, we can send the wrong offer. Like it was a mess. But just having that automation really, really helps. So that's kind of what we're working on. We've been working on the last year. Every month it seems like they're implementing more and more things. So that's really, really helped a lot. Is tech.
So chapter 1 was really, the first 2-3 years, the Michael Jordan, LeBron James getting together and really taking what was an idea and a vision
yeah,
of something that didn't exist at all in the entire country or world in the real estate marketplace, and creating it out of nothing through, blood, sweat, tears, and just sheer elbow grease and work ethic, to then chapter 2, it starts to grow legs. Y'all start to reinvest back into the back end structures, systems, and the tech, which is not cheap, right?
No.
And that sounds like chapter 2's been the past couple years. I myself and my company really jumped on at a good time, and even over the past 12 to 18 months has really just seen this kind of hockey stick growth on the capabilities and the amount of offers and how just flat out great and high they are coming in. It seems, being now a part of this platform and knowing you guys, that really it feels like there's starting to be a shift towards maybe a chapter 3 in the history of your platform and company. And so, as if any of that is true, as we embark on chapter 3, kind of, what is What is the vision? What are, don't share everything.
No,
What are some nuggets?
Don't share everything.
I share everything. I'm a very open book. And so what's really made the company is people like you, Dallas. So here's, I have had the initial vision, but you see things too, as you're working in it day to day and helping people, it's coming back. It's great, you'll call me at 9:30, hey, think of this or this or this. Yeah, and those, that input back in from being in the trenches, with your team, having that feedback is valuable because you want to meet the needs of what the consumer's saying. So there's a big part in that as well. It's just not Annette and I and our staff and our tech and all that. It's the agents that are working in it that's being back. So kudos to you for that and the rest of the people in it. I think the biggest thing we're working, like I say, this is very, very big for the agents, is the lead generation piece. There is going to be, I would say, phase 3 is a lead generation piece that will help the agents just automatically have the leads come in, have the business come in, hand it on a silver platter. Here you go. All you got to do is now enter it, push the button, and then go give the customer what they want, right? It's a push of the button vision that we have, and it's coming to that very quick. But the hardest part I think agents have is the lead generation aspect, how they can lead generate with all of this. And so we're working on that right now. So we got some cool things.
Yeah, we were talking about it at dinner the other night, and you said this, and I was like, all right, that's cool. And it's really, really just forward thinking, not only for the consumer, but also if you're a real estate professional watching this, right? So you've got a database of whatever, 5, 10, 100,000 people.
Sure.
And obviously our job as top real estate professionals in the marketplace is to always stay in touch with our clients. We're here whenever you need us, whether it's for property values or CMAs to fight your taxes, or you just want to know where, for most people, your largest financial asset sits, whether you truly are in a need to sell or not. And, up to this point, everything, like you said earlier, and that's been extremely manual. So if a client, someone in our database reaches out, hey, I'd like to free CMA, fight my taxes, just to know where things are at, plan for the future. We've got to go in the MLS, and we've got to spend quite a bit of time looking at comps and running comparative market analysis and all this stuff. And then we spend all that work and we send them the data, and there's an asterisk, and it's like, hey, this is a range. I can't give you a finite number until I come and walk the home in person and see the condition in real life, right? And so it's a very old school, antiquated process. But imagine if we now catch up with technology and where we're at today, where someone in our database, whether they're looking to try to fight property taxes or just plan for their future, can click a button, and instead of, a CMA or a ballpark range, they get a dozen real life cash offers that are all pretty much in line. Like, there you go.
There you go. Yeah, that's a piece that's built out right now, matter of fact. And there's other aspects of it that we see, like our past clients or in our database. We should never look at a past client like a past client. They should always be somebody we're helping build wealth through real estate, right? Because Dallas, we know you can build tremendous wealth through real estate. We all, as real estate agents and running large teams, we understand that. And it'd be a disservice and a sin if we didn't help our clients that way, right? So now we have that built in. So not only is it just about cash offers, but it's helping them to develop wealth through real estate, build wealth through real estate, I should say, and other aspects of it. So this is all developed, it's all done, and we're getting ready to launch this, and it will help the agents within their database. If you have 10, 20,000, how do you keep in touch with them? But it's going to be that, like you say, that Carvana, the Amazon self-checkout. Your customers will start checking themselves out to come to you, Dallas, to seek that value, and they're coming to you, say, okay, I'm ready. And that's what people are doing today, right? When Uber disrupted the cap, it was the app, because you knew exactly what's taking place, right? When you're trying to order a cab, it's like, okay, I got to find the number, got to figure out. No, just go on the app. So this is what this is going to be, is that self-checkout. The agents desperately need that with the platform. That was one thing that we noticed was a void. We had a great product, a great end product, but it's like, how can they lead generate it? So generate with it. So that's, we figured that piece out. We're excited about that.
You just kind of sparked, more education, more value for the viewers at home, whether you are a consumer or a real estate professional. Our consumer habits have dramatically changed over the past several decades. And we talked about the auto industry, right? And how it's slightly, to this point, maybe a little bit more forward. And the real estate industry is a little bit of a laggard to this point, trying to catch up with technology. Well, the same with consumer habits, right? So, there's songs about vehicles, driving the same car or truck for 10, 15, 20 years. Well, in today's age, does anyone keep the same vehicle for 10 or 15 years?
No.
And it's the same thing with our homes. 50 years ago, the baby boomers would be there for 15, 20, 30 years, and just an educational, bringing more value to those at home. The National Association of Realtors says that the average consumer will not only move every 5 to 6 years, but will be in over a dozen different homes over the course of their lifetime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The average consumer, the average American, will have over a dozen homes over the course of their lifetime, and on average stays in a property for about 5 to 6 years. And so you think about the 5 Ds we talked about in real estate, right? Diamonds, diapers, diplomas, divorce, and death, and think about changing business environments, from being able to now work from a laptop and live anywhere, and lifestyles, and changing political landscapes and all the things. I think it's safe to say that average stat might even get lower over time. And so for consumers and real estate professionals to have this, just world-class tool of convenience, click a button, get 12 instant cash offers,
It's powerful.
Yeah.
It separates you from the rest of the pack. And we see it. We appreciate the value you see in it and others see in it. I think it's definitely the way of the future in how real estate can be viewed and handled in many cases. So we have a saying in our office, the dungeon, right? Keep better every day. And that's just not with your business, but it's how people look at certain things and understanding. Somebody said to me, running a team, our coach said the worst mistake he made running his team in Metro Atlanta was he would try to model after other real estate teams and agents. He said, but there was world-class companies out there, and he was missing that piece. And if you think about it, model yourself after an Amazon or after an Uber or something like that. Think of how they're disrupting and how this consumer is behaving to them, and just put that in a real estate perspective and build a system around that. And I thought that was pretty genius of him to say that, because boy, it changes the whole paradigm of how you think, right?
right.
It does. And so that's part of what happened here with us. We started looking at certain things like that, and that's how the platform was developed, along with getting Miss Annette over from Zillow.
Yeah, the mic report.
So it was great, but
So just kind of to sort of finish our conversation, Annette, if you're a viewer at home and whether you're a consumer and a homeowner or you're a real estate professional, what kind of final words or advice do you have about this platform, and how do you, I know y'all's mission statement, how do you foresee it getting even better to really connect what people want, which is certainty of the highest net at the end of the day, and just being able to give that, like you said, that instant Amazon option?
One thing we're trying to do is we try to train the agents to make sure they understand the offers. So a lot of times the agents will just get the platform. but they don't know what to do with it. So just really digging in, making sure they understand how the offers work so they can benefit. Anytime you have all the cash offers we have will benefit the seller. You just have to know how to explain them. So just making sure they understand how to explain the offers and making sure the sellers understand them. One thing you don't want to do is take a cash offer and then the seller has no idea what the terms are. So like Tim said, it's about terms and making sure the agent understands the terms, making sure the seller understands the terms. Once everything's understood, you're going to have happy sellers. You're going to have happy agents. This process is going to go very smoothly. And that's our goal, is for them to go make everyone happy and for it to go smooth. So that's what our goal is, just to just move things forward and not get stuck with, currently buyers can back out. How many times do you have buyers just change their mind, back out? So just a certainty, convenience. So that's really what we're focusing on, is making sure everything's moving smoothly.
They know if terms are like if they can stay an extra couple of days, or if the agent comes back on the market and they sell for more money, that the seller keeps the money, right? If they sell for over what the offer price is, the seller benefits on the close, on that second closing. When this agent comes back, that the win there is the seller keeps the money that the agent was able to sell it over the offer price. The offers are coming in at pretty much market value.
Yeah.
But sometimes agent can get in a little bidding war, hot market, or something that's a great property, and they could sell it $25,000-$50,000 over what the offer price is, and the sellers say, well, do I lose that? And with our offers, many of our offers, no, you get that back. So you even win. So there's good terms. It's not these bad terms, but there's good benefits that the seller understands. Hey, I really win in this scenario. So anyways, that's a cool thing about what we do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Tim Evans, Annette Bishop, the company, the platform, the web address is
highestprice.com, or if you want to sign up, it's cashoffers.pro. You can check us out there. But that's in a nutshell what we are. And we're not we don't really market or advertise out there per se.
Well, that's why we're creating this video, because people need to know about this revolutionary platform. So if you're a consumer, and this is nationwide, any state, if you want instant cash offers, 5, 7, a dozen plus bids in the next 24 hours or less, whether, you just want to know for your taxes, you want to plan, or you are needing to sell in the near future, go to highestprice.com, right? Takes just a couple minutes, input the specs of your home, take some photos, upload it, and they'll be in touch. If you're a real estate professional and you want to have a competitive edge and add more value in your marketplace, right? Imagine showing up for that initial listing presentation, and the first thing you talk about when you sit down after touring the home is, oh, by the way, I've got 12 cash offers ready to go. If that intrigues you and you want to separate yourself from the competition, you can go to cashoffers.pro. Again, recap, one of the most revolutionary things there is in the real estate industry today. There is not another opportunity out there where you can have multiple big boy REITs and companies that buy hundreds, if not thousands of homes every single go for cash, bidding on your home, right? Anywhere from 90 to 95% of the same market value. And in a market like ours today, instead of gambling with holding costs of sitting for 3, 4, even 6+ months, if the offer and the terms seem acceptable, that money can be in your bank account in 2 to 3 weeks.
I always tell agents, you owe a fiduciary duty to your seller, and if you know they're out there, you should be at least having the conversation and showing them. Whether they accept or not, that's up to them, and that's how the conversation is. So yes, you should have that in front of your seller if you know they're out there, and that's the biggest challenge is agents don't know they're out there, or they have to go to each system and input all the information, and it's just too tiresome. It just takes too long. And Dallas, you know how the system works. It's like within seconds. It happens that fast, and then you can walk in the door loaded with the offers, and man, the conversation really changes just from the sellers watching their expression. My partner Jason was in at a home the other day, and the lady was like, "You got to be kidding! You got 12 offers for my home." Like,
Yep.
She was blown away. So anyways, all good things there, and it's definitely different. It's definitely different.
It's revolutionary.
Yeah.
And it exists in every other industry in our world right now. For whatever reason, the real estate industry is a bit of a laggard. And so I just wanted to thank you, Tim Evans, founder and owner of highestprice.com.
Appreciate that. And we're on all 50 states. So people ask, like, okay, what do you do? All 50 states, we can go up to, 5, 10 million, depending on the, in value.
Yep.
And then we're also exploring opening up in Canada as well. We're working through that right now. So anyways,
Perfect.
yeah, it's international.
And I appreciate, I did have to coax her with 2 or 3 glasses of red wine last night, getting Annette on camera.
Thank you, Dallas.
Appreciate
I'm more the operations person. I'm the one you talk to if you have problems.
Yeah, that is really the backbone, and the operations runs our staff, and she's the glue of the company.
Yeah.
She's the glue. So thank you.
So if you liked what you heard today, if you want to check out more content, like and subscribe below on the link. Again, my name's Dallas Seeley. I'm the founder and owner of the Seeley Group. We're one of the top real estate brokerages, not here in Central Texas, but the entire state as well as the country. And our goal is to bring as much value to the consumers in the marketplace as we can. And when you sell your home with the Seeley Group, we're not only going to get you the top net at the end of the day with the least amount of stress and hassle, we're going to have cash offers ready to go as soon as you need us. So reach out to us today. We're here to help. Thank you so much for doing it.
Thank you.
That's awesome.